a continuation from the Matias de Stefano Antarctica Blog 3 video. Hi everybody, I just wanted to explain something that I did here. Just 3 minutes, but it will be important to understand
Architect's creation and portals.
So let's go. And so we were here at the compression, and this geometry, we find it over here. We saw the video of the, hold on, the phase conjugation, right? So this is the Grail, the Holy Grail, and in the middle you have that geometry going on, and this is where everything starts, creation. This geometry here in the middle is what we had seen here. There is what you see as the chiral, renamed to the swastika, ancient swastika, and then became Nazi swastika. And that's the portal happening right here in the middle. Now, let's see the other image I wanted to show you. So there's more to that image here that we were talking about. In the middle, there's cube, or you could call that the protecta, hexahedron, or you can call it the tesseract. That's Matias here. So here it is, the protecta, and the cube in the middle, and here again is the chiral. And here is again the cube. Inside you have the chiral. That's 70 inside that cube. Outside the cube here, then it's physical reality, right? Inside there, it's not. Here, now we have geometry, 6D. In there, that is 7D. And I showed you that image already. It's the plasma created from 7D, known as chiral or ancient swastika, I explained in recent posts. Now let's check how this looks here. This is the physical reality, right? This is like your computer screen. So here's Mr. Architect, or Matias calls him the Weaver, in my understanding. So picture these guys sitting behind the computer, creating the matrix. There they are with their consciousness. Here's their blueprint where they create the matrix. This is just like an architect's blueprint. It's just that this is their creation. And here there is their center point of source, which they are aspects of source. And here's their hands. They don't have hands, but this is how they express through their consciousness the matrix. And here you can see how all of that expression or the hands of the architect are branched down to your soul, oversoul, and then we have collective oversoul, and then you have the separation of physical reality where they are creating all of this behind that computer that I alluded to, which is simply the separation between physical reality and their realm. The realm of thought, the quantum field, where everything is a wave, where everything exists in infinity, in no space and time, the point before the Big Bang. That's my perception of what the Weaver is. Same thing as architect. So Mr. Weaver, which is consciousness, right? In 7D, the I am. Here's the little chiral creating physical reality. So this is these little dots. What are those little dots? They are basically pixels, like in your TV screen. All the little dots, or you can call them nodes, those little dots are what creates our perception of an image. Pixel, 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 pixel will create then an image. If you get closer to your TV, all you'll see is little dots, and that's what actually creates an image. So if we go inside a DNA, in the middle of the strand, you have these little portals, which is this, the chiral, the creation. It's the bleeding point between the quantum field and the physical reality. So all these points here, they bleed into the other realm, 7D. So this is the point where consciousness shows up. Every little point of your DNA, it's the portal between this realm and this realm, quantum and physical. So this is where it bleeds through. That's why we call it the antenna. All right, so here's a little chiral there in the middle of each of your strands of DNA. Here, 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 here. So you have them everywhere, right? This is your blood. This is all your DNA. So all those little dots are the chiral. If you put them all together, is what you understand as the soul. So that's the whole consciousness field within you. It's not outside of you, the soul. Soul, again, is within you. Why? Because of this. And the main one is the heart center. So it all starts with the core of the planet, the core of a humanoid, of a human. So this is the main point of starting point. Everything else is fractals. What do I mean by that? So if we look at this pattern here, this is a pattern taken from the Tree of Life, but this is what we know as Metatron. So the light is not so good here, sorry. All right, so we have the pattern here, and you can see the middle of it, right? You can see the little sphere in the middle, and everything connects to it. So if I keep turning this, you'll understand how everything connects back to the middle, right? Let's see. Okay, this is better now. See there in the middle? All right, so all these points are just dividing, and then they divide themselves again, and then divide themselves again, all in a pattern, geometry, and everything, as you see here, and there's a little sphere in the middle, and they all connect. There you go. Here's Metatron, which is part of a pattern that's inside the flower of life. So here's the core, center core. Okay, it's the same thing. We got that here. Everything else is connected. Everything else is connected to the core. To the core. To the core. So it all starts in the center. And this is what happens. Again, okay, see, this is the cube, tesseract. That's the chiral. I mean, this is the phase conjugation happening. Where's the other? Hold on. Here. So that's that geometry happening, and each of those center points, each one has one of those. The chiral happening there. So now let's go to the planet. So the planet has, again, each node is this. This is what? The connection to this other 7D realm. So nodes, 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 nodes. And what's happening here on this node in Antarctica? The Reptilians working with the Nazis. And this is the faction from the Anak Empire, which is back to Enlil, which is the malevolent brother from Enki. Enki had 7 scientists working with him on the humanoid project, on the Homo sapiens sapiens project, I would say. So he developed the human that we know as of today, the Homo sapiens sapiens. And Enlil also had his project of developing humanoids as slaves. And he dumbed them down. He found the humanoids here. He asked his brother Enki to get these humanoids and create this dumbed down humanity. And then this same Enlil that did all of that, he was in contact with this group in Aldebaran. Well, there was a reptilian base in Aldebaran where Maria Orsage contacted them, and she was able channeled that faction on that star system so they could build. She could give this information to the Nazis. She was an ET, a humanoid ET. And she was just pretending to be one of the Nazi followers there, a psychic medium, and she channeled all the information to build spaceships, gave it to the Nazis, and then this all with the help of that reptilian faction. So what happens is that the Nazis started working then. They built the ships. They built a base here in Antarctica. And this is where they had the ships, the Arks, that were buried from that time, from this Anunnaki factions that left those ships there, or the ships were buried there when we had the floods. And they had all this technology in them. So then came the Nazis and then revived all of that, those Arks with all the technology inside, working with the Reptilians that came to work, the Anak Empire connected Reptilians. So what's happening to that node? So that node now is tuned to a different frequency then, and this is the Taurus field. We call the Taurus field, or you can say the Kundalini energy comes in. Well, it starts here in the middle, right? And then the being gets activated, Earth or Gaia, and then it creates a Taurus field. Because if it's not activated, this is not sentient. But the planet is sentient. The sun as well, or the star, is self-sufficient, right? Just like a cell. It doesn't receive commands of what to do or not like a machine. It is self-sufficient and knows what to do on its own. So sentient star. And this is what you see. The black hole is the reflection of the same, just that it's in a different dimension, or what is inside we perceive it as black. It's just that it is actually a sphere, and it's a round sphere. We just see actually a flat 2D image always, but no, it's a sphere. And that what you see through is actually the quantum field 17. Anyways, going back here, so these pixels, this node is tuned to a different frequency. So what happens to this torus field? Torus field, or you can call this the magnetic field, the Kundalini is the energy field that is also in a human, circulating through the human. And the human has the chakras, which are simply fuses. Same thing as an electrical system. You have fuses, so when there's a lot of energy flowing through, the whole system doesn't explode. That's why you have fuses, and the fuses are the human chakras. So again, here we have this going on in our planet, and this is why this is off. I mean, there are several arcs around the planet, or bases, underground bases, that are in tune with other extraterrestrial civilizations. We have under the Atlantic, we have in Russia, we have in Ukraine, we have the Triangle of Bermuda. So there's several arcs spread around the planet. And there was the arcs here in Atlantis. But what's happening is that since this is where consciousness, as Matias explained to you, consciousness comes through and then goes to Tierra del Fuego, land of the fire, that's where it ignites the fire of the magnetic energy field. That's where it gets ignited. Yeah, so let's talk about more, instead of like ancient Hinduism beliefs or names, we should go more to a scientific, or now that we understand what it is. So the electromagnetic field, the same one that ignites an orgasm, because they talk about the snake, right? Well, this is an energy field. It's a filament of energy, and every atom has inside, and they know it as string theory. Well, that string, that filament of energy comes through, and basically it's not allowing the flow of this earth. The Gaia has its own tune. It has its own music. But this music is tuned to another realm where the reptilians are, where the dark fleet is going back and forth. And that affects the whole circuitry here of this being called Gaia planet. And again, there are other beings from different planets in different bases around the planet, but somehow they are not influencing as much as this one, because this is where the energy comes right in, and instead of then flowing through, this is going over here. So that's what happens with the consciousness grid. The whole consciousness grid of the planet is getting whacked, because space-time over here, this is in a different space-time. This is what's important. This has been hijacked to a different space-time, different frequency space-time, and therefore the whole consciousness grid gets off tune. So I hope I didn't leave any details off. I hope we understand from what the core of everything is, and how it all bleeds into what consciousness is, and how everything gets animated in physical reality because of consciousness. Each of the pixels, each of the nodes in our DNA, then this, and from this over here. So we, like he says, we are the neurons of the planet. So it starts here from this, we have it in here, The humans are made of Earth material and of stardust. So fractal. So Earth is a fractal of the sun, and the beings are a fractal of the planet, as we are made out of Earth material and of stardust material. This is exactly what we are. Our skin, everything that has that made this technology, this avatar, is contained in this Earth material. So this is all fractalizations, and fractalizations. And I hope this will make more sense with this design, so we can understand what is happening in Antarctica and affects the whole consciousness of the planet. And again, we are the neurons. That means that we are the collective consciousness of the being Gaia. Okay, bye.